Different show. It's a big day in politics, and we're just 4 weeks from Election Day and only 8 days from the final presidential debate hosted by our own Chris Wallace. The stakes in the race for the White House could not be higher. A lot of people talking about that ad today, Eric. Do you think it hits the points he needs to at this stage of the game?
Yeah, you know, I think it's effective. Boy, how do I say this? I think Sunday he decided he's going to take the gloves off and really go for this, and he's got to turn the momentum around because he wants to probably take the attention away from the video, the hot mic video that came out on Friday. But if you notice today, and I'm not sure if it's because of what went back and forth with Porramen over the last couple of days, he's been tweeting aggressively. He says the shackles are off. I can finally do what I want to do. And he's been more aggressive today, last night and today. So maybe he's pushing back on some of the advisors and saying, I'm going to go a little bit hardcore core the next 28 days or so and see if this works for me. It just feels something changed yesterday and today.
Like he's just like a nothing to lose attitude, like let's go all out.
After an election?
Dana, so maybe he's winning hearts and minds of Trump supporters, but is he winning hearts and minds with an ad like that with women, independents, undecideds?
Well, the video does exist. I mean, that did happen when she stumbled at the World Trade Center event on 9/11. The campaign did not reveal that she had pneumonia. She had to later come out and do that. I think they probably knew that that was going to be used against her, except for that in the first debate, Donald Trump really kind of let the health thing go because she did fine. The stamina was there. But that you notice the language in there is basically that she's not only is she corrupt and incompetent, but she's also unhealthy and she doesn't have the stamina, which I think is also probably doesn't play well with women. I would imagine they're about the same age. They've been on the campaign trail. I think that some people get pneumonia. That's what happens. The ad, it reinforces what some of his supporters want to see. And you keep winning those people over and over again. That's great, and they'll turn out for you. But does it expand the map? Probably not.
All right, so it's all about the electoral college, right, Julie, and making sure to see, and you saw now 2 states that they say are now leaning Democratic that before were more toss-up. So what do you think about these developments and an ad like this targeted to try and expand his base?
You know, I thought the first half of that ad was great. It was effective. The second half of that ad with this not-so-subliminal messaging about the fact that she's on death's door, that I think Dana's right about, that it's not something that's going to resonate well with women. Again, if she were somebody who'd been off the campaign trail since that incident where she stumbled at the World Trade Center, had she not put in 2 difficult debates where she seemed like she had energy and stamina to deflect from that issue, then I would say that's fair to say, but it doesn't ring true. And what it does is it takes away from the message, the core message of what that ad should be, which is that the world is a mess. Rightly or wrongly, Hillary Clinton was responsible for what's going on right now. And that's something that he should have run on. I would have advised him and his advisors to have left the second part alone and focused primarily on the substantive part of the ad.
So you would have edited and said, stop right there, don't talk past the sale.
Totally, yeah, exactly right. Yes.
One of my favorites. All right. Tom Shilley, welcome. It's been a while.
It has.
Things good?
Things are great.
You have a beard.
What do you think?
I still like it.
Listen, the talk online, people like it. On Twitter, the talk on Twitter is they like it, so who knows?
It's the rough side to the barbershop quartet.
I am rough, and I like this ad.
Exactly.
I think it's great. This is what political ads do. You take out an ad, you have your message, and then you show pictures of the candidate not looking their best. When do they show their opponent looking their best? They don't. It's when, you know, why is it a women thing? You can't show Hillary not looking her best? Every time you run against someone, you show the candidate, you have all these guys looking haggard and terrible. That's what you do in a political ad.
Exploit the weaknesses.
Yes.
So this is a political ad online, and if you notice, YouTube put a warning on the bottom of the ad.
Amazing.
Like, be careful before you resend this or send this along.
The ISIS
share
part?
this. I'm not sure. They don't exactly say why.
Probably the ISIS
But,
part.
boy, I got to tell you, I'm just a little taken aback that they would warn on a bottom of a
Not just warn, it's not available in search. You have to click on it. It doesn't come up.
What does that tell you?
It also warns you about sharing that ad for some reason. They don't specify why.
That seems sort of bizarre. We're going to investigate that and probably not get back to you. All right. As we mentioned, we're just being honest. 8 days away from the third and final presidential debate at the University of Nevada at Las Vegas, where Fox News Sunday anchor Chris Wallace will be moderating. Now, Trump had some tough lines for Hillary Sunday night in St. Louis. Listen.
People have been, their lives have been destroyed for doing 1/5 of what you've done. And it's a disgrace. And honestly, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
If he wants to start, he can start. Go ahead, Hillary. No, go ahead, Donald.
No, I'm a gentleman, Hillary. Go ahead. Honest Abe never lied. That's the good thing. That's the big difference between Abraham Lincoln and you. We have a divided nation because people like her, and believe me, she has tremendous hate in her heart. And when she said deplorables, she meant it.
All right, so what should each of the candidates do a week from tomorrow to sway undecided voters in the home stretch? This is the big question. It is the final debate, but yet the first fair and balanced debate. Dana?
I'm excited
Fox
because
News.
Chris Wallace, you know what, he's got that thing where he has a presence about him. I remember the first few times I had a chance to go on Fox News Sunday. He makes you nervous, it's like a teacher.
It's terrifying.
You actually want to do a really good job. Like you are on notice that you have to have your you-know-what together. And he has that ability to sort of look over his glasses at you as if you better deliver something. There he is, right there.
Looking at you now.
So I'm looking forward to this. And it feels like these have come sort of fast and furious. It was just a few days ago that we had the last debate. The thing is, I think Donald Trump did a lot better in the second debate than the first. I know his supporters loved it that he finally was taken to Hillary Clinton. And whether you care or not, the scientific polls that came out afterwards have him losing that debate. So if the question is, how does he expand to reach undecided voters? I don't know what he does, because at this point he has said he's unshackled. I don't know what that exactly means, but I think that means you're going to get the full Donald Trump on Wednesday night. I would not miss this debate.
The full Monty.
This could break a record. I mean, honestly, because what we've gone through, we had the first debate where Hillary won, the second debate where a lot of people say either one of them won. There was a Wall Street Journal poll, I think, that had just... It outlined post-debate. It had prior to the debate, the last couple of days, but also just post-debate. And the number was the same. They had Clinton leading by 7, which they had Clinton leading by 7 prior to the debate and all that stuff as well. The point is this. The third debate could be the final opportunity to make your final decision. You don't want to miss this. I didn't like Anderson Cooper and Martha Raddatz arguing and fact-checking and almost debating Donald Trump in debate number 2. I just didn't like it. It felt awkward to me. Chris Wallace has said he's not going to fact-check. He said he's going to let the other candidate fact-check the candidate who says something wrong.
Yeah, do your homework
that'll be
and
fun
defend
to
yourself.
watch. Let them go at it. Let them fact-check. Let them argue who's right about whether the red line was drawn while she was Secretary of State, or how many barrels of oil that we still import or not, or some of the things that Donald said. Let them do it. I love that idea better. What's the record now? 100 million? What 100 million? We could break a record.
Close to it. Yeah. You know what I think he needs to do? He needs to reshackle himself, because what he did right in the second debate, if he did anything right at all, was the second half was more substantive, and that's where I thought he did better. The first half, I know his base loved. I know when he started trotting out the women, the base loved it. Nobody else loved it.
His Obamacare answer was great.
But yes, that's what I'm talking about. When he was talking about substance, that's where I thought he did well. When he was talking about women and your husband did worse and you're a liar and you've got hate in your heart, that kind of stuff, people don't like. His base loves it, but nobody else loves it. So if I were in his shoes, I would reshackle myself. I would get a hold of some policy briefings before this next debate. Of course it's not. No, of course it's not. But that's what he should do.
That sounds a little Pulp
I'm not
Fiction,
saying, yeah,
50
well,
Shades of Grey, Julie.
Well, what he's talking about is 50 Shades of Grey. I'm suggesting he put away the 50 Shades and maybe talk about things that real people care about, which is not 50 Shades, but more about how their lives are going to be improved under President Trump versus who Bill Clinton may or may not have slept with back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
He's got a winning case to make, though, just on the issues alone. If people care about the economy, he is more trusted to be able to make advances and put the economy back on the right track. You can talk about Obamacare, like Dana said. Tom, you can talk about national security and the failed foreign policy of Barack Obama.
Talk about immigration.
Secretary Clinton.
He owns her on immigration. Yeah. Just go there.
That's what his supporters like, too, but he's got to start getting the lean towards me versus lean towards her.
And it may be a head fake. This whole thing, the unshackled, he's putting it out there. He's got the tough ads. He may be setting it up. He likes to set things up and then go in another direction.
Wait, are you saying there's a pivot coming? Because I've been waiting for this mythical pivot now for a year. Okay, this is it. This is the pivot.
Well, look, that first debate was a little bit of a pivot. I thought he was too soft in the first debate. I think he was advised to not attack, and it didn't work for him. It's not his personality.
So while we're entrenched in talking about every twist and turn of this campaign, a few days ago, we passed the budget. We passed a resolution that funds things like fully funds Planned Parenthood, fully funds the an expanded refugee program, fully funds sanctuary cities. We haven't talked about it here. We did not do one block on this show about that in 8 days. And this is an opportunity for Trump to say, you know what, while you're worrying about what I said on a bus, how about the money we just spent? We're spending trillions of dollars. We're throwing hundreds of billions of dollars at issues that the American voter probably doesn't want their taxpayer money spent on. He has such an opportunity. He's got to take it, though.
Well, and also now he's been on sort of the elliptical, the debate elliptical, so he's got some practice in, Dana. I mean, he probably is feeling a little bit more comfortable, competent after his last performance going into this.
I'm also curious, just given if the polls being what they are, going into that third debate, I mean, you just go for it.
Let it rip.
Like at this point, just be himself, do whatever that he feels like he needs to do.
I think he's no longer interested in winning this election. I think he's now interested in destroying the Republican Party and refashioning it in his own image, because his attacks on Paul Ryan and John McCain and so on and so forth, John Thune, all of these people, all it's doing 4 weeks out is splintering the Republican Party.
Here's what you need to do. And if you think that he's going to lose the debate, or if he thinks he's going to lose the election, that brand, what's the Trump brand going to be on November 9th, right? So he's got 28 days to figure out what the November 9th is going to be for Trump. And I guess Hillary has to worry about it too. I guess that's just going to be going back to the Clinton Foundation. But what's Trump going to be? And is he going to risk what he sees as a celebrity brand, a valuable celebrity brand, by doing something like that?
He's already done it.
I'm not sure. Maybe you see, just envision it. I don't know what it's going to be. I have no idea what it's going to be. But certainly I would think that if the numbers are not looking good for him going into that debate, you'll see some sort of pivot towards what he wants to be post-November 9th.
Next on the 5, Dionne Warwick with the Psychic Friends Network. Just kidding, as you may know. A programming note, be sure, and I'm not kidding, to tune in to Fox News next Wednesday for the first fair and balanced presidential debate moderated by our very own Chris Wallace. He's a winner for sure. Only here on Fox News.
In an effort to court millennial voters, Hillary Clinton is taking it back 2 decades, hitting the trail in the battleground state of Florida with her old friend, Al Gore, to talk about an issue of concern to many young people, climate change.
I can't wait to have Al Gore advising me when I am President of the United States.
Hillary Clinton will make solving the climate crisis a top national priority. Here's my second message. Your vote really, really, really counts. You can consider me as an exhibit A of that truth. For those of you who are younger than 25, you might not remember the election of 2000 and what happened here in Florida and across the country. Elections have consequences.
Indeed. All right, whether young people will come out to vote and swing the election remains a question mark. A recent Quinnipiac poll found 60% of millennials say they'd consider voting third party this election. If there was sort of a more credible third party candidate, Kimberly, maybe they would be able to do that. Usually they start to realize that their vote would be thrown away if they go third party, and they start to make choices, which I guess is why she thought Al Gore in Florida made a lot of sense.
Oh, the ghost from Climate Past coming. So he's coming into Florida to be like, remember me? Hanging Chad, your vote counts. Don't mess it up again. Don't waste your vote. Don't go green. Don't go lib. Don't go whatever. Just go donkey. Just go for the Democratic candidate. Vote for Hillary Clinton. Push this state over the edge so we don't have one of these problems again. Look, it's clever. Bring him in. He loves to talk about climate. John Podesta, big, passion of his, huge, is climate change. So he's bringing in Al Gore for that. But he just kind of brings back all the cobwebs, the memory of Al Gore, what happened to him on the heels of the Lewinsky scandal. The people feel, did that hurt him and cost him the election? There's been bad blood between Al and Hillary. But you know what? At least they're unifying to go forward to try to get it done in Florida.
Julie, is climate that big of a deal for millennials that would turn them out?
Yeah, actually, if you look at polling, it is a big deal. I'm not sure Al Gore is a big deal. This is what makes no sense to me. I mean, I remember
was Leonardo DiCaprio not available?
Yeah, that's a great point. I remember, frankly, because I'm old, where I was when 2000 was going on. I actually have a hanging Chad thing in my office, which just makes me a complete relic.
You're
but
a nerd.
I'm a total nerd.
That's sexy.
Let me tell you something. If I could come over and look at that hanging Chad thing anytime. But I will say, for people who are under 25, I mean, he's right. I don't know who cares about it necessarily, and who really, who remembers Al Gore? Yes.
This is a place where Donald Trump could have also gone to her on when we're going to talk about Ken Bone later, the guy that asked the question about energy.
Ken Bone.
But when she said she wanted to put the coal miners out of business.
Yeah.
I mean, there are fundamental changes. If you're a young person in Florida or if you're in the coal country, you have very different views of who should win this election.
That resonates. And you should bring that up in the debate. I think this is a smart move by Hillary, although my 18-year-old son was 2 when the hanging Chad was an issue.
But isn't he in Florida?
No, but it isn't important that she did do this in Florida. Florida does have climate issues. They have temperature issues. They have sea level issues.
They got Zika. He tied in Zika.
But they have this algae issue that no one really talks about. There's a massive algae situation.
So
Al Gore, algae.
Yeah. Algae, A-L-G-A-E, if I'm not mistaken.
We're so glad you're here.
But the point is, it's smart to do because you hit on climate in Florida, and I get it. I'm just not sure that the inventor of the internet is the right guy to do it.
Yeah, he did invent the internet. We do have to thank him for that.
He did, and he is so exciting. I mean, I was yawning when he started. We were watching a clip, and I couldn't get through it. But I think young people do know who he is because they were forced to watch his movie in school.
That's true.
All kids had to watch that movie, so they all know who Al Gore is.
Do you remember when that movie came out?
Yes.
I do. It was in January of 2004, and it was the coldest day of the year.
And everyone was laughing.
That
like,
was great.
oh, it's freezing. Let's worry about climate. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you then, Eric, if you think that as they sort of narrow in these millennials, I know that they think that they would like a third party, but at this point, do you think Gary Johnson is an option for
that's
them?
not. This is not the election for it. But Bernie,
Aleppo who?
Bernie Sanders was the guy for the millennials. I mean, it's amazing the numbers that he was pulling out, and it was change. They wanted a credible change agent. He was also talking their language, free college educations, let's tax the wealthy more. So that message was resonating. I can't imagine if they had a credible Bernie Sanders in the race.
Jill Stein?
Jill Stein!
No, but someone who was with a younger version of Bernie Sanders with a big personality. Boy, that could have been
Do the Democrats have a younger version of Bernie Sanders?
I don't. Probably Sherrod Brown. I would think somebody like that. But the difference here is, in 2000, as I recall, George Bush didn't scare the bejesus out of third-party voters. Donald Trump, I think, to some extent, scares the bejesus out of third-party voters, and to the extent where you're right, Dana, I think they're going to take a look at their options and say, wait, if I potentially vote for third party, I might give this election to Donald Trump. That's a big difference from giving it to somebody like George Bush, who I don't think terrified young people the way Donald Trump terrified
We
them.
spent a lot of time talking about millennials, Kimberly, but you know who we haven't talked about, and I think this is so interesting in terms of how many the 4 different generations that are all voting in this election. It's seniors. They're a much more reliable voting bloc than millennials. Millennials have said they're apathetic. They don't like either of the candidates. Should we maybe have more attention on seniors?
Yeah, why not? I mean, 100%. But look at the villages. I think they're like pretty much all in for Trump. But yeah, why not? Seniors will go out. They're totally into voting, into the election process, perhaps more even party invested than, say, millennials. We're looking for something new and fresh, and we're so attracted to the candidacy of Bernie Sanders. They're not going to lay awake at night like sweating and crying over the Democratic Party and the DNC and Hillary. They don't have that kind of investment. But I think seniors, you can make a persuasive case, and especially as it relates to like Obamacare and Medicare, and say, this is somebody who's going to make changes, that realizes you've been left behind and failed, and we're going to make sure that we earn your vote. You matter to us, you're great Americans, and we're going to take care of you.
So if you are a senior or a millennial in Florida, like if your grandma lives there, make sure you get her to the polls, and she'll take you to the polls, and everybody will vote, and it will be great. That was my public
PSA.
service. Yeah, PSA.
For the past couple of weeks, the media has been focused mainly on old Donald Trump tapes from over a decade ago. But why haven't they been pushing more for answers from Hillary? Well, Democrat Senator Chris Coons is urging for the release of Clinton's paid Wall Street speeches.
It seemed to me that it's in everyone's best interest for us to reach across the aisle, to engage those who feel they're on the outside, to build some confidence in, I think, the strongest candidate for president, Secretary Clinton, and to release things that are now only known in portion.
Meanwhile, there are even more new WikiLeaks revelations. In 2014, Hillary sent an email to her campaign chairman, John Podesta, saying Saudi Arabia and Qatar are funding ISIS. And the leaked emails also show Clinton's staff debated how much outrage she should show lawmakers over Benghazi at her 2015 Capitol Hill hearing. KG. We have lots. It's like 4,000 emails in the last couple of days.
Yes.
We keep finding new things.
More just coming out now. Yeah, so you'll hear about it later. So what it is you've got to process this because you have to make sure, you have to check. But what's very interesting to me is it seems that they're very worried about something big or significant dropping, because from the beginning they've been putting forward the narrative that perhaps this is something that was subject to like a Russian hack, that you can't trust the WikiLeaks documents because maybe they've been doctored, because WikiLeaks, like they said, was an agent of the Russians trying to put this stuff forward to do in Hillary Clinton. So they're saying no matter what comes out, distrust it, because they're probably worried that something more significant than we already know could be released.
Dana, right now is Podesta going, oh my God, what did I write? What did I send to who? Is he like going through everything he ever sent in his mind?
He
probably knows.
I don't know him very well. He strikes me as a pretty calm character, so I think that he's probably letting this ride. I do think it's important to provide some context, though, because she did say that she thinks that Qatar and Saudi Arabia are involved. But what the full quote is, while this paramilitary operation is moving forward, we need to use our diplomatic and more traditional intelligence assets to bring pressure on the governments of them, because to me that sounds very clear-eyed and level-headed. I don't know why they're talking about this on a non-secure email. It seems to me fairly significant, but I think that what she said there is not...
You don't think it's earth-shattering?
I don't think it makes her look bad. She's being relatively smart about addressing the issue.
Contemplative.
Julie, one of the things that I saw, and I'm trying to figure, I think this is a big deal, and I'm not sure why they're not blowing this up a little bit more, was Hillary Clinton's reluctance to talk about reinstating Glass-Steagall. Glass-Steagall years ago was there. It was basically a Chinese wall between the investment bank and the depositors' money. Bill Clinton lifted that wall and let both banks become too big to fail. Now, her advisors were suggesting, let's get Glass-Steagall put in so that we push back on Elizabeth Warren's issues and Bernie Sanders' issues, and she was reluctant to do it.
Why do you
I think there's an opening there for Trump to say, hey, she's been on both sides of the Glass-Steagall wall, and she's been on both sides of TPP wall. Is this who you want to be president?
Well, he can certainly say it. I mean, the problem for him is he in favor of reinstating Glass-Steagall? I don't know that he is, or whether he's even aware what Glass-Steagall is. Look, here's the problem with what has come out with these WikiLeaks so far. The most important thing to me is you have people talking about, as Dana said, policy issues, which is not earth-shattering, talking about how she's going to address the Benghazi committee, which is basically prep for a committee hearing, also not shattering. And I think if you were to hack the emails of anybody in that situation, you would find very similar content. So all of this stuff that's supposed to be very earth-shattering and explosive in reality is nothing more than what any politician would have as trying to assess their own vulnerabilities, the vulnerabilities in Bernie Sanders' case of their opponent, trying to figure out the best way to exploit it and the best way to mitigate against your own vulnerabilities. Based on that, I don't see anything earth-shattering. It's what you do in a campaign. I've worked in enough campaigns where there's a million candidates who have the same kind of issues and the same kind of prep that they do.
We getting more?
It's earth-shattering because it's not earth-shattering. It's banal in how little regard these people have for the American people. I mean, it gives me the willies when I read these things. They never talk about policy. They talk about themselves. The thing about how much outrage should I show? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's all theater. And of course, Podesta is not shaking in his boots about his emails because he shrugs everything off. And the media helps him shrug it off because they shrug too. They can do whatever they want. It's ridiculous.
But it's a campaign. I mean, Tom, you're assuming these people are sitting here trying to determine policy. They're trying to determine how they're going to inoculate their candidate against political attacks. And you may like it or dislike it. It happens on every
dislike it.
Okay, you could dislike it, but I guarantee you there's Republican campaigns and Democratic campaigns that are responsible that do the same thing. That's called being prepared in a campaign.
It's policy, process, preparation, spin.
I think that what's interesting was that the soundbite that you showed from Senator Coons, I think that actually, he's kind of auditioning to be the future Bernie Sanders of the party. And I think that while the Republicans are going through their own civil war right now, the Democrats' civil war is coming. And you can see it. All the seeds are being planted right now because nothing that the Democrats do in the future will ever be pure enough for the left. So
they've been pushed. That's
why. Elizabeth Warren.
She's the new Bernie Sanders?
She might just be the new Bernie Sanders with enough likability.
I think for sure.
Certainly smart enough to do it.
She was Bernie Sanders before Bernie Sanders was Bernie Sanders, though. She was like the first one to do this.
Well, because she was laying back. She wasn't going to get burned. Bernie got Burn.
All right, we'll leave it.
We were not allowed to have any electronic devices with us, and we were sequestered at the debate venue from about 8 a.m. until the debate was over at 10. When I turned my phone back on, when I got back to my car at about 10:30 Central, I had thousands of notifications and Twitter friend requests and Facebook friend requests. I'm just really glad that I have a small platform to encourage people to spark the debate on energy and to get out and vote.
Make no bones about it. I did not write that. Ken Bone has emerged as the unofficial star of Sunday's debate, setting the internet on fire with his bright red sweater, much like I'm wearing in honor of him today. The undecided voter has won over America's heart, revealing why he made his now famous fashion choice for the big event.
I had this really nice suit that my grandfather really liked before he passed away, and so I thought, I'm going to be on national TV. I'm going to wear Grandpa's favorite suit of mine. But apparently, since Grandpa passed away, I've gotten a little more fat than I used to be. And when I got into my car, I tore the pants open.
You ripped the seat.
And they are destroyed.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I ripped the seat right out of the pants and had to switch to emergency plan B.
After the debate, Bone says he's become more undecided than ever.
Oh, dear.
I am racking my brain here trying to think of something to ask about this.
Well, I think that it's really interesting that people were looking for anything in that debate that would be positive that they could grab onto, and it happened to be Ken Bone, and he didn't expect to be this internet star, and he's just so honest. When he talks about ripping the seat out of his pants and he throws another one, he's got his grandparents. I mean, if you were looking for real Americans, you found him in Ken Bone.
Tom Where to get his sweater, which was a very good value.
You know, I like a guy in a zipper sweater. I always loved that look. But I detect a little snobbery with the whole Ken Bone thing. It's first of all, the reason Twitter was looking for something was because Trump won the debate, and everybody on Twitter couldn't believe it, and they were like, "What do we talk about? Let's talk about this guy in the red sweater." That's number one. Number two, it's a lot of snobbery. Oh, look at the average American. I love him so much. There's something about it. It's a little bit of bullying.
Right?
But I know.
Look at you.
I know, it's terrible. Look, you got a really cool, slick guy, and then you got average American Ken Bone. It's just cruel.
Wow. Who got into you?
Look, I think, what got into me? I'm the average American. What I'm saying is America is not loving Ken Bone. They're making fun of him, and I don't like it.
All right, I disagree profoundly. Eric, is he the one we've been waiting for? Is that basically what Dana's saying?
It's amazing. There's this internet sensation now. He started with something like 7 followers. Now he's up to 100,000 as of airtime. Here's my issue. He had the most substantive question of the whole debate.
Yes.
No question. Hands down, he asked about an energy question. And the thing is, he should be a single issue voter, energy. His family's involved in the coal industry, and he's sitting in front of Secretary Clinton, who said, "We will put coal miners out of business," and he still remains undecided after that. That comment alone should be Ken Bone's wake-up call to say, I can't vote. I may not like Trump, but I cannot vote for her.
That's
but
why
he wants to stay undecided.
That's why
Come
those
on, Ken.
commercials drive me crazy.
Get tough, Bone.
You know the commercials that say
Bone up.
you know the commercials for they go through all the things about how important it is to have diverse energy and to have more energy, and at the end they say, "I'm an energy voter," but it's like, then what are you for? Who are you for? And they've never said in any of the years that they've run that.
Ken Bone has just answered your question.
I know.
He's for all of the above.
He, to me, looks like the new Mr. Rogers.
I love
with
that.
his sweaters, his cute sweaters, and his sensible shoe.
No, you are not. You are Mr. Timeout.
Yes, he is Mr. Robinson now. With your sensible zip-up
I'm
sweater.
a tough love Mr. Rogers.
And your little beard thing or whatever that is.
You don't think they're making fun of Ken Bone? I do.
No, I think people think he's cute and charming.
I actually agree with you. I think there's a lot of New York media condescension about Ken Bone. Everybody's sitting around, oh, isn't he so cute and adorable? He's not like us. He's, I agree. There's a little bit of
Ken,
condescension
no one's
there.
making fun of you.
Not at this table.
I'm not.
Not at this table, but I agree.
I just want Bone to make a decision.
Is Ken married?
Are you looking?
No, I'm not interested in being Mrs. Bone, but I mean, in a nice way. Jeez. Ken Bone.
Directly ahead, Donald Trump shares the campaign stage with a much younger version of himself. So I had toddler Trump handle the spotlight, breathlessly waiting with anticipation to find out next.
Despite the heated rhetoric in the election, there are still some fun and light moments from the campaign trail. First up, Donald Trump's mini-me steals the show at his rally in Pennsylvania. Watch.
So cute.
Now, he's supposed to look like Donald Trump, but he's actually much too good looking. You are really handsome. Where's your daddy? And your mommy, right? Do you want to go back? Do you want to go back to them, or do you want to stay with Donald Trump?
Trump.
Oh my God!
You can't script that.
It's fantastic. What about little Trump, though?
He's so adorable.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't. I think he should. Little Trump, he's got to
this
take
a
him.
Friday
Can he get
show?
him tickets to the debate? Put him in the front row.
Well,
How do you attack Trump with little Trump sitting there?
Yes, exactly. Put little Trump next to all the women that he accused Bill Clinton of having affairs and sexually assaulting. I'm sure little Trump.
I don't think they're going to come back for the third debate.
I don't know about
But
that.
that was really cute, and also you can't script a moment like that. So Donald Trump, I'd show a lot more of that on the.
Well, he looked so nice
Cute.
and friendly, and you know what it made me think of? Because, you know, he's a grandpa to all
Yeah.
his grandkids, and they always play in his office.
Even Hillary
they
Clinton
tell
said he's a
stories.
good dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's a super charming, cute little photo.
And KG, as a lawyer, I wouldn't have asked that question.
It's
he was
legal.
set up for a fail, though. He said,
Right.
do you want to go back to your parents or do you want to stay with Donald Trump? I mean, that's a risky question to ask a kid. What if he said, I want to, you know,
Well,
put me
it's
down?
not going to be legally binding, if that's what you mean, KG, as a lawyer. Like, Trump doesn't get to keep baby Trump. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying he's a risk taker. He's a risk taker.
Well, he's not risk averse, is he?
No, he's not.
Right?
What do you think?
Part of the deal.
Eric, what do you think?
I'm just enjoying watching you come up with questions about little Trump.
Oh, this is what I do. This is what I do on Red Eye all the
Donald
time. We don't
Trump-
talk about serious
how about
stuff.
Trump puts
He's got similar
Ken
hairdo.
Bone and little Trump in his VIP box for the next debate. That'll
Cute.
be fun, right?
Why not? First of
Ken
all,
Bone could maybe like sit like
In the middle.
in the middle, like
Yeah,
up with
sit in the middle.
I'm
foot in each
suspicious.
camp.
I think Ken Bone is going to the other side. I think he might.
What's the other
They're
side?
Gonna, Hillary's going to get him. They're going to.
Ken Bone did say that he was leaning towards Trump, and now he may be a little
There-
bit more
you know
After
what?
the debate,
It's all a
but I
setup.
thought he won the debate.
Yeah, but they're going to pull him over. I think Ken Bone is. There's something nefarious is going on.
Stop being so
I
down.
hate to be the party pooper for Bone, but he's got about 15 more minutes of fame. He's got like
15.
he's
Give
got
it up,
58.
Ken Bone.
That's what we all thought when we got on TV, and look, we're still here.
Deboned.
Well, I think that Trump needs to. I think he's got to cut an ad with Mini Trump.
Little Trump.
Yes. Forget the attack.
Millennials.
Has Trump done any positive ads for? I mean, I
About
see
himself?
I see all the attack ads. We need to see the lighter side of
I
Trump.
think some
don't
of
we?
the PACs have done.
I think
like
The
that.
Apprentice was his positive out.
The thing is, his strength is his rallies. He's out there. If you watch the rallies, they're amazing, and it makes you. It kind of.
Show him in the ads. Yeah, the enthusiasm.
I don't see the rallies in the ads. Why don't we see them?
I
don't know,
think
get
you
on it.
are about to be a campaign staffer. Like you can see it, like the next career move.
You're
Listen,
the new guy
I
in
could
Virginia
give
for
advice
him.
to those guys. I don't know. I don't know who
Cuyahoga
they
County,
are.
Ohio, here you come.
You could write some jokes for them.
Is Facebook
Well-
Friday next?
No.
No, it's only
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
One more thing is up
Yeah.
next.
All right, it's time now for one more thing, and you may have seen this on the channel earlier, but it was incredibly heartwarming. It's another tribute to the men and women out there in blue that serve and dedicate and put it on the line all the day. And this case was a case of saving a child's life, and it's very sweet. Last month, 25-year police veteran Lieutenant Kenneth Knox got a surprise of a lifetime when he answered a call for a choking child, and you see the picture of her right there. When he arrived, he said that the little 2-month-old girl, Mayavi Parham, was turning blue and fading fast, even after her parents had tried giving her CPR. So good for them, because everyone should know that. He performed reverse CPR and was able to get a piece of cereal out of her throat. Story doesn't end there. Earlier this month, the parents of the little baby girl asked Lieutenant Knox to be her godfather. How amazing is that? In a Facebook post to little Mayavi, Lieutenant Knox wrote this: "It is my honor, my privilege and pleasure, my precious angel. I swear I will forever be your guardian and love you with all my heart." God bless them both.
How sweet is that?
Great story.
KG,
And
this
that's
is
so
like
sweet.
the 7th time in a row I've cried at your OMTs.
Aw.
But I'll go next and try to make you laugh, because I think you're going to like this. I was thinking of you when I thought of this. Blake Shelton was with Jimmy Fallon, and last night they had another episode of where they try to make each other do something they've never done. Several months ago, Blake had to eat sushi, which he hated. And last night, Blake made Jimmy Fallon milk a cow. Take a look.
This is Oreo.
Okay, cool.
Meet Oreo.
Hi, Oreo. Did I ever dress? Because I thought...
You dressed very disrespectful. It's a old farming tradition that you do a shot of your first milk.
I love that when Is that
true?
over his shoulder.
Did
No,
you?
I don't think so.
Did I do of the goat milk?
You milked the goat.
I did.
Did you take a
so
shot?
well.
Nobody.
Remember that little girl Charity? She was the one helping
she
you.
taught me, and I mean now I feel like I'm recession proof because there ain't a goat I can't milk.
You're gonna have to do it again and take a shot of the milk.
Funny, Tom?
Okay.
It's good. Is that a real tradition? Do you really?
No, I think he
Oh, you
was,
made
I
that
think
up?
he was giving him a hard time.
I think
I've
it
never
should be a
heard that.
tradition. You ought to drink the milk if you're going to milk the cow.
So if you do like a milk a goat, you drink the goat of the milk and then chase it
If
with
you
the
milk it, you
cow.
got to drink it. That's my rule.
I love goat milk. I'll drink it next time you milk it.
Wow.
I'll drink it.
Okay, so I have a customer.
I'm telling you. I'm here for you, KG.
Don't talk past the sale.
What a team. Yeah, exactly.
It's your turn.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
So we did the whiteboard on the Senate. We talked about what the Republicans need to do to keep the Senate. Personally, I think it's still a Republican Senate. House is going to be real tough for the Democrats to flip. But what about the gubernatorial races? There are 12 gubernatorial races. Right now, the governor's houses across the country are 31 Republican, 18 Democrats, 1 independent. There are 12 up for election in 2016, November, same day, November 8th. Right now, it looks like, by the way, 4 of those are Republican, 8 of them are Democrat. And it looks like they're going to continue to hold, but a couple of key races. Keep your eye on Indiana, where Mike Pence was, North Carolina, New Hampshire. That's 2 Republicans and 1 Dem. It would take a lot. It would take almost a clean sweep to switch the country from a gubernatorial Republican to Democrat.
Are those the 18 states that aren't doing so good too? Have some problems,
Could be.
some issues.
We'll look into that.
We'll look into that. We'll get back
We'll
to
get
you.
right back to you.
Or we won't.